Hello, dear students. I hope you are all fine and in good health. In this audio presentation, I will be continuing with my discussion related with the chapter The Third Level, written by Jack Finney. So, as you know, I already started discussion related with this chapter, and I completed up to the first paragraph in page number 4. Now, I will be continuing from page number 4 itself, from the second paragraph. So, let's get started. Now, as you know, he entered the third level, or Charlie entered the third level, and everything that he is looking around, he is getting very surprised. And it seems to him that he came to a time period that is in 1890. And that is the most surprising part. And another surprising part is the dress and costumes of the people that he encountered during this time. That is also quite surprising and wonderful for him. Now let's see what more strange experiences he encountered. So let me continue. To make sure, I walked over to a newsboy. Newsboy means a hawker, a newspaper hawker, or you can say a newsboy. To make sure, I walked over to a newsboy and glanced at the stock of papers at his feet. Now, there was something strange, and Charlie can feel it. So he went very close to a newspaper hawker and he looked at the stock of newspaper that is kept at his feet. It was the World. The World is the name of the newspaper. It was the World. And the World hasn't been published for years. Now, the idea stuck to his mind immediately after he saw the pile of newspaper that was there along with the newspaper boy or the newspaper hawker. The name of the newspaper he found, it was the World, and the World newspaper hasn't been published for years. So this also confirms that he came to a different time zone. The lead story said something about President Cleveland. I have found that front page since in the public library files, and it was printed June 11, 1894. Now, the lead story or the front page story, it gave some information about President Cleveland. And on careful observation, he found that the date printed on that particular newspaper, it was June 11, 1894. Now he is totally certain that he came to a different time period, and that is late 1890s. Even he had this sort of a doubt that we get to know previously only when he entered the station and when he looked around, and after he saw the dresses, costumes of the men and the women, he was sure that he came to a time period that was during the late 1890s. So we get to know that information previously also, and now after this newspaper incident, it was more confirmed. So dear students, I am moving on to the next paragraph right now. I turned towards the ticket windows, knowing that here on the third level at Grand Central, I could buy tickets that would take Lausa and me anywhere in the United States we wanted to go. Now, he had a feeling at the back of his mind, and that if he purchased ticket from this third level, he can actually roam with his wife anywhere in United States of America without any problem. And it seems that he could afford to buy tickets for any places within America, any place that he want to go within USA along with his wife. In the year 1894, and I wanted two tickets to Galesburg, Illinois. And the important thing is that the year is 1894, and the dream place where I want to go along with my wife Lausa is Galesburg, Illinois. And he felt at the back of his mind, Charlie felt that he could easily afford ticket prices to whichever place he wants to go in USA, and particularly since it is 1894, he already decided in his mind that he wants to go to Illinois, or more specifically, he wants to go to Galesburg, Illinois. Now let's see what experiences he will encounter in the ticket counter. Have you ever been there? It's a wonderful steel town with big old frame houses. Now, in this particular paragraph, it seems that the narrator is describing Galesburg, Illinois for us. He's giving a picaresque description of the place along with the lifestyle of the people also. So let us continue. Have you ever been there? He is interacting with the readers. It's a wonderful town still, with big old frame houses, huge lawns, and tremendous trees whose branches meet overhead and roof the streets. Now, it is a place that consisted of big frame houses, huge lawns, and apart from that, huge trees. Tremendous means something that is very vast or something that is quite huge. So, tremendous trees whose branches meet overhead and roof the streets. And in 1894, summer evenings were twice as long, and people sat out on their lawns, the men smoking cigars and talking quietly, the women waving palm leaf fans, with the fireflies all around, in a peaceful world. Now, the description that had been given here in this paragraph, and as Charlie is saying to us about the idyllic life that one can lead in Illinois. It was a peaceful life during those days. The evenings used to be longer than it is usually, and apart from that, people they used to relax sitting on their lawns. The men used to smoke cigars and they used to talk quietly among themselves. The women they used to wave palm leaf fans with the fireflies all around, and the entire world is like an idyllic world, ideal world, peaceful world. There was no fear of death, no war, no violence, nothing. Because if it is 1894, then the First World War haven't started yet, and there is no question of the Second World War also. So, what I told right now regarding the First World War and the Second World War, dear students, it is written. See, uh, to be back there with the First World War still 20 years off, and World War II over 40 years in the future, I wanted tickets for that. Now, since it is 1894, so the First World War, as you know, it is in 1914, and the Second World War, it was in 1939, that you all know. So the author is saying that even for the start of the First World War, it will be 20 years later, and for the Second World War, it will be more or less 4 decades later. So at this present moment, it is a pleasurable place. It is like a resort. It is a pleasurable place, and I wanted 2 tickets for that, because since it's a great place and it is a good place to go right now, because it is almost 2 decades left before the start of the First World War. The 20 years later, the First World War will start, and 40 years later, the Second World War will start. So at this present moment, the place is idyllic. It is a very suitable and a peaceful place, and definitely I want to go there. Now let's see his experience with the clerk at the ticket counter, because there will be a sort of a problem related with the money, currency. So now let us move on. Now, dear students, I am moving on to the next page. The clerk figured the fare. He glanced at my fancy headband, but he figured the fare, and I had enough for 2 coach tickets one way. Now I had enough money to actually travel on the train. I can buy 2 coach tickets also, and if I make one way journey also, even on the expensive coach I can enter and I can move on. One way journey I can easily do. But and the clerk looked at me, or rather to say at Charlie, very seriously. He was surprised at his dresses. Particularly, he looked cautiously at his headband and all these things, and then he looked at him once again. But when I counted out the money and looked up, The clerk was staring at me. He nodded at the bills, and here I quote, "That ain't money, mister," he said. And if you are trying to skin me, that means if you are trying to fool me, if you are trying to befool me, if you are trying to skin me, you won't get very far. Now, all of a sudden, I told you that it is, if it is 1890s, then obviously the currency notes won't be, won't be valuable here right now, because author again had to change it because this is 1890. So that is the reason when he paid the money, the clerk at the ticket counter was very upset because this money won't be suitable to accept for him, and he thought that this man is making fun of him, trying to fool him or befool him, as you can say. So I repeat this line, and here I quote, "That ain't money, mister," he said. And if you are trying to skin me, you won't get very far. That if you try to be over smart, then I assure you that you won't get very far. And he glanced at the cash drawer beside him. Of course, the money was old style bills, half again as big as the money we use nowadays, and different looking. So, obviously, when he opened the cash drawer, Charlie found that the protagonist of this story found that the currency notes are of different shapes and sizes, and half as big as the money we use nowadays, and the shape and the design of the currency notes are all different. It is different looking. I turned away and got out fast. And the most important thing, I realized that if I stay here for a long time, I will be in big trouble. Because who knows, he might call the cops. So it is better to move out from this place. And that is what Charlie did. There's nothing nice about jail, even in 1894, because he thought at the back of his mind that Galsburg, Illinois is the place that might be comfortable, that is very much comfortable for him to visit along with his wife. But that doesn't mean that even a jail in 1894 will be comfortable for him. So he thought that the matters might turn worse and it might go against him. So that was the reason he decided to move out from that place. So I am just repeating the last line of this paragraph. I turned away and got out fast. There's nothing nice about jail, even in 1894. Even still, if it is 1894, then also there is nothing nice about jail. So dear students, I stop here in this audio presentation. In my next audio presentation, I will be continuing from the next paragraph. Dear students, kindly listen to this audio presentation, and if there is any doubt, any problem whatsoever, kindly let me know about it. Thank you, students. Thank you all.